Welcome to Tourism Talk. I'm your host, Mary Hammond, Director of the Paducah Convention and Visitors Bureau. My guest today is Darlene Dreyer, and she's the Executive Director of the Paducah Symphony Orchestra. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Mary.
Yes, good to see you. Good to see you. It seems like this year has just gone right past so quickly. I was looking back and thinking of this past year, and Bugs Bunny, it was almost 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine.
It's pretty amazing. That was a wonderful family show. It brought in a non-traditional audience for the symphony to have the cartoons on our stage at the Carson Center, the live orchestra playing on a click track as if they were producing a movie, and all the giggles from the children. That's what I remember about that kickoff for our 30th anniversary.
Do you think that we've all been exposed to classical music all of our lives and don't even realize it, just like that, with the background of the Bugs Bunny cartoons and movies, TV?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all around us, and I think that it also influences new commissions. The sounds around us, the birds, nature, that's all been integrated into music in the classical form. We've also, we're introduced to it in contemporary form, musicians who play on MTV. They integrate classical tunes in their music too. So it's not just even, where you might think about finding it in the bank while you're waiting to talk to the teller, or in another situation. You just stumble upon it. It's all around us.
Those are the tunes that stick in your head.
Yeah.
You're familiar with them for some reason. You're not even quite sure why, and then you do hear it maybe in something, like you said, out in a different situation, and just can't get rid of it. Well, it's been a really good year. I love it that you have used the rhythm and art rhythm in rivers, the tagline for the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and it's really worked well. But it's been a year of partnerships, a year of reaching out within the community, and I love the programming. It's been a great year, and we're just halfway through.
Yeah, it's been a really wonderful time for the symphony to reflect on how we can better serve the community through programs that are reflective of the needs of the community, of the population here, and how we can take our classical form and put it in a situation or in a partnership, a connection that makes it really relevant. That's my favorite word for the programming this year. And Jordan Tang and the Symphony Board have worked really hard to make the programs exciting, but still maintain our mission to present classical music in the community.
The Bugs Bunny was the perfect way to kick that off, and there
Absolutely.
were so many children there, and they were so into watching it, and the way the screen was up on the big stage at the Carson Center, and the orchestra in front of it. I mean, it was all part of it, all together, and your senses were just overwhelmed. It was really good.
It's fun. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
It was good, and we've had some. That's not the only good program we've had this year. As we lead up to what you've got coming up, tell us a little bit about what's been going on this year.
Well, we had our Diamonds and Pearls, our 30th anniversary gala kickoff, and what was interesting about that, it was kind of a retrospective of classical music that we have performed during the 30th anniversary and during the 23-year tenure of our conductor, Jordan Tang. So we took little snippets of movements of symphonies and through the eras, different composers, and kind of your top 10 of music history, if you will. And very hard program for the professional musicians on stage, because we took things that people know, and those programs tend to be really hard, like Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony and bits of Beethoven. Those are really difficult pieces for a professional musician to perform, and to perform them back to back was pretty challenging for them, but that's one of the things we strive to do, as well as serve the audience. So we also found that at that concert, we introduced some of our musicians, and they spoke directly to the audience about their experience over their time in the symphony, how they became a musician, what influenced them, what music was challenging to them, and what a turning point. It was very nice to have those personal
It was good.
tidbits.
It was.
It's fun.
So many of us recognize those faces, but we don't know anything about the individual, and that was a little peek into the group, because they come from all over.
That's right.
All over this, 4-state area?
Yeah, that's right. We come from Indiana, as far as Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee, so 5.
That's great. Very dedicated, and then really come together. That's great. And Dancing in the Seats and the Holiday Pops, they were all good.
Yeah, the Dancing in Seats program was kind of fun for us too because we showcased Murray resident Scott Conklin, who's gone to become a pretty accomplished violinist and now teaches at the University of Iowa. That was a fun solo of Ravel's Zagana, Gypsy Dance. And all of these things put together with the Holiday Pops, our annual event every year. We're going to do that again next year because it's always successful and everybody loves that warm fuzzy they get as they walk in and out of that hall and see all the people and share the holiday spirit. So it's been a very exciting and full year for us.
Well, tell us about the spring, and then we'll kind of look forward to even next season.
Well, the neat thing about the spring is that it's full of partnerships, including a Lincoln Bicentennial program with our children's chorus, and we've got a partnership with the League of American Orchestras to do a commission, and we are all about partnerships right now. Our community really needs us, and the symphony's in a position to help other nonprofit organizations, and just they can help us too, to make our community a better place. One of those projects that's ongoing and is going to continue for many years is our partnership with the Upper Town Heritage Foundation and their restoration of the Hotel Metropolitan. What wonderful things about, I'm just tickled about this project, and I love the idea of having a longer term partnership with an organization like this that features the focus on musicians who performed jazz music mostly, and stayed at the hotel right here in Paducah. You know, the likes of Ray Charles and Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, B.B. King, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. It's just a wonderful array of musicians, and we are so excited that we get to produce programs that pay tribute to those musicians.
Many of those musicians traveled the rivers, but some of them did what the old Chitlin circuit that Paducah was part of,
Yeah.
and that was the place to stay if you were a traveling musician of color.
Absolutely.
And how fortunate we are that the restoration of that property and a good partnership.
Absolutely. We're very excited about that, and we're bringing to life that music, and that's the joy of the Symphony Orchestra, is that we can present music that's living.
Sure. Are you going to squeeze Ike and Tina Turner in there? They did stay there. Who knows?
We're kind of extending it, not in that direction, but you never know.
You never know.
She's
That's
still
right.
performing, and this time, we've even done some twists about extrapolating where that lineage might have gone to, and integrating some Stevie Wonder into the program. So that's kind of neat too.
That is exciting. Well, the Lincoln Bicentennial has been such a big thing for our country, and all over the country. There are different pieces being performed this spring, and actually throughout this whole past year. Tell us a little bit about the Lincoln.
Well, I think we are very proud of Abraham Lincoln and his birth in Kentucky, and through that pride is how we came about programming our particular program called My Kentucky Home, and it's a very patriotic program featuring My Old Kentucky Home by Stephen Foster and our children's chorus. We've got Songs of Democracy by Howard Hanson featuring our symphony chorus. The program really shows and highlights every aspect of the symphony orchestra here in Paducah. We've got wonderful talent at all levels, vocal, orchestral, and we're even going to be integrating some artwork in there from school children. So we've got a local narrator, Chuck Wilkins, doing our Lincoln portrait. And all of these things together make up a wonderful community-wide celebration.
I'll say that is touching in so many parts of the amount of people involved in a production like that.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Massive. Over 200 people.
Wow, that's great. A lot of comings and goings, but it happens so smoothly. That's good. If you want to see these particular dates, please go onto the website. You can go through paducah.travel. I know you've already got that bookmarked, I hope. But and your website?
It's paducahsymphony.org. Very simple.
.org. That's right, Paducah Symphony. Either place, or you can always go to paducah2.org and check that as well. Also, rewatch this segment if you'd like, right?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Well, keep on going. Let's see now. You've got more spring to go. You've got something in. You got February, March, back to April, May. It just keeps on going.
It just keeps on going. We're almost a year-round organization at this point, although we avoid July and August because they're the heat of the summer. The symphony really does program things all year round. We have our Outdoor Pops concert annually in June, featuring Terry Mike Jeffrey this year. It's a fabulous program. Before that, we have our season finale, Porgy and Bess, which is a partnership with the League of American Orchestra, called Ford Made in America, with a brand new piece by a Pulitzer Prize winning composer. It's called Chasing Light, and it's sandwiched in between our beloved Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue and Porgy and Bess, a great American opera.
So it's not just Porgy and Bess.
It's not
That's
just
great.
Porgy and
Well,
Bess.
that'll be
Yeah.
great. In getting to the Pops concert, that's in June?
It's May.
May, okay. Now, is it on Armed Forces Day? that
It's actually
weekend?
on Armed Forces Day
That's
this
what
year.
I was thinking it was.
It happens either in May or June
Right,
every
okay.
year, and this year, May 16th, it's actually the kickoff of Downtown After Dinner, a whole
Another partnership.
Another partnership with the Paducah Renaissance Alliance, and we're trying to help bolster and make it very exciting to come downtown after dinner on Saturdays, and this is just the first one of the summer. So it's an outdoor experience, picnic experience for families. It's a super great program, all-American. We have Julius Williams coming in to conduct. He's an African-American conductor coming from the Northeast, and I think you'll really enjoy the Pops program that night.
This is something that you can buy a table to
Yeah.
and bring your family, have a celebration, but it's not limited to that. You can
No.
still come and sit around the outside of the tables.
It's free to the
and,
public.
free
Uh-huh.
to the public to watch, but the tables are to support the symphony and
That's
to
right.
have a nice, and actually there was a children's area, wasn't
Yes,
there?
just last year we instituted a family garden, and that's for families to bring picnics and still share the experience with the children and not be concerned about the wine we serve in the sponsor garden. They can bring their own picnic. It's a little bit more affordable, still a great way to support the symphony and introduce young people in a very fun setting to light classical music.
I'd say this is the perfect year to introduce young people or people who have thought that they didn't like classical because they had it kind of compartmentalized in their brain what it was,
Yeah.
and to come and see all of the two different choruses, see the different types of music and the outreach with the community. That's just great.
Thanks.
That's great. You've already planning for next year?
Already planning for next year. We have to keep ahead of the game. It's a very exciting time with our symphony. We are selecting a new artistic director to come and be Paducah's own star, and we have a season planned next year entitled Exhibitions, so that we can put some structure for our audience to the programming, and we will be featuring the candidates for the position on 5 of our 7 programs. So what that means is that the audience will have a chance to view the conducting style and the energy of the new conductor before they come here to actually conduct.
That's
So,
bold.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
And they'll get a feel for Paducah, and then they'll still be the process of going through interviewing all of that. But this is great, and to get it down to 5.
Yeah, and
It's
yeah,
tough.
it's really tough. The pool of people available in the country who would want to make their residence here, it's a great place to live, and we're very good at recruiting people. So we've got quite a list of applicants to whittle down.
That's great.
But their programs are all featured or focused around the title of Exhibitions, which also another partnership with the Lowertown Arts District and our drive to make Paducah, which it is, an arts destination, and make it more interactive for our audience to see how art and music relate visually, verbally, and musically.
We have found that people like to come here to learn about the arts, and this is adding to that. Not only is it just seeing the exhibits, just hearing the concert, but being a part of it, being more, for lack of a better word, hands-on,
Yeah.
but to experience art in every way, using all your senses. And we're seeing more and more of that as the artists in our community are offering more classes. Now, the artist, that's very wide because it does go from the quilting and the sewing to the painting to the hands-on to scrapbooking. I mean, the arts is so wide.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing your part. Yet another year.
Yeah.
Yet another year. What most excites you about your job? All these partnerships?
All the partnerships. I really
Right.
enjoy seeing how music can really be integrated into the community, and seeing the spark in somebody's eye when they find the connection. one of the other partnerships we're going to be doing this spring is a food drive. After the wake of the ice storm, we feel that it's the symphony's the symphony can stimulate some good things to happen in our community to help those people who are otherwise in need. So we're going to be partnering with Paducah Cooperative Ministry to do Orchestra's Feeding America food drive and encourage our patrons to help out that way. Come to the symphony and be part of this collective drive to help our fellow citizens. And that really excites me, is that we can be a mechanism for greater good in our community. That
Yes.
really excites me.
That's wonderful. The 2030 group, not only are you a part of the 2030 group, but you've also involved them in having fun with the concerts afterwards.
Yeah. We have started a series of after parties, and the first of which was last year, was called the Cantina Party after our Star Wars concert. This year we're having a speakeasy program after a concert, and that's a party based on the Prohibition style party. Of course, it's going to be all on the up and up, but in the style of the speakeasy. And so we're going to have people drinking out of, incognito mugs, and fun, light, putting music in the context of contemporary day. So having a DJ mix some classical music or jazz of the 1920s era into a party atmosphere. So it's kind of becomes part of the scenery. And that 2030 group partnership is really essential because we're still growing that part of our audience and making symphony concerts an exciting option for entertainment and expansion of mind and all those wonderful things.
Well, don't forget that 40-50 group now.
Oh, we love them too.
Okay. They're game. Just come some Monday and visit with us.
I'm shortly to belong to them, so it'll be good.
Okay, word is out now. But yeah, that'll be wonderful. Tell us a little bit about the setup of your staff, the board, and how this comes together. How you're funded, just a little bit of an overview. People sometimes think, oh, it's a Paducah Symphony Orchestra. Well, that, the city probably just writes them a check. It's not that way. This is money raised locally.
Yeah, although we do receive substantial support from the city of Paducah and the state of Kentucky, those budgets vary from year to year. So we actually must rely on community donations for our funding. Tickets cover about a third of the symphony's budget, which is about $650,000, and the symphony board, which is a 30-person board of prominent members of the community. We've got some wonderful, diverse ranges of career and types of people on our board, and we're ever expanding that. They're dedicated to helping fundraise for the symphony and help grow these partnerships and make the symphony a greater part of the fabric of the community. So their main function is to help make sure that the symphony's doing stuff on the up and up, and that fundraising and being ambassadors for the community. The fundraising does take up a lot of time, and we do some stuff at Barbecue on the River. We run the beer garden, and our children's chorus does fundraisers throughout the year that are more fun and lighthearted, like Krispy Kreme donut sales and barbecue fundraiser as well. And we do father-daughter dance and a little black dress ball, and our Outdoor Pops is a major fundraiser, an annual raffle giving away cash. So that's really important to, some sort of an economic stimulus.
Cash is good.
We have a very small staff to support the 65-person professional orchestra that is typically the size that comes on stage, and the symphony chorus of about 65, and our children's chorus of over 70 children. We have a core group of about 4 people, in addition to our artistic partners. Dr. Brad Almquist is our symphony chorus director, and he works with both choruses and has a partner in the children's chorus, Amy Alcoin from Murray State University, and she's the conductor of the youth chorus, which is the older of our 2 children's choruses. We have Dr. Jordan Tang, who is our conductor of the professional symphony, and we're celebrating his tenure this year. We have staff and administrative and box office coordinator, Nicole Taylor, who's our frontline friendly lady, and she's there to help service all of your ticketing needs. We have behind the scenes people, and then myself. So
and a core of volunteers who are always there.
Always there.
And if you're watching this and you think that some of these things sound like fun, they might be something you're interested in, and that could be Barbecue on the River. Come down and volunteer. call, what's the number, 444-0065?
You got it.
I know it, I couldn't believe it. Volunteer at barbecue, that is the perfect place to break in. Then from there are so many, the Pops concert this spring, that'll be a wonderful time if someone can't wait till barbecue on the river in the fall. Call down to the symphony, say you'd like to be a part of this. There are many ways to be a part. Yes, that signing the check is a very important part, but it takes people volunteering in many different aspects and partnerships to make this work.
Absolutely. Our volunteers are the core. We're expanding that group. We'd love to have more people. Thank you, Mary.
Well, and do you know where the symphony office is? You can't miss it. 21st and Broadway. You're sitting at that that light, and look over to your left if you're on your way downtown, and yes, there's the symphony right there. Stop in and just meet the folks there. Just say hi and be a part of your community. That's part of what is Paducah. You know, the friendliness is huge, but we're deeper than just friendship. We're deeper than those smiles and those handshakes. Paducah has depth to the arts, to our culture, our lives. Be a part of it. That's I just urge anyone. You can make a difference.
Yeah, we like to say, play your part.
Play your part. That's a good one. I should know you'd have a good terminology for that. That's great.
Yeah.
And yourself, you've been around. You've been around. You've had some experience with other symphonies. Brought some fresh ideas to Paducah.
Yeah. Yes. Before coming to Paducah in July of 2007, time goes so fast. I served the Garden State Philharmonic in South Jersey and the Plymouth Symphony in Plymouth, Michigan. Those are very wonderful experiences. And we did similar partnerships in both of those organizations and helped to grow those organizations. I'm very proud of those, the people that I worked with to make change in the community stimulated by the symphony. I also am connected to the League of American Orchestras. I'm a former board member there. They are doing wonderful things nationally in nearly every community that has an orchestra. They are making sure that they're providing help to symphonies to make them an economic and tourist catalyst. And it's been a wonderful, I've been very blessed, Mary.
Where do we fit into an average symphony orchestra? Are we like down here at the end? I know we're not at the very, very top, but where do we stand?
Well, the League of American Orchestras has a system by which they categorize orchestras, and there are 8 groups. The top orchestras, multi-million-dollar budgets, like the New York Philharmonic and the LA Phil and Chicago Symphony. Those are the Tier 1 group orchestras. And then at the bottom you have Group 8, which are independent youth orchestras, affiliated college orchestras, and those are about budgets of, say between $50,000 and $100,000. The symphony here in Paducah falls in the category of Group 6. We're about $600,000 in budget. We're growing. I imagine that in a few years we will be, just because of the nature of what we can provide this community and our expanded education opportunities, more so than even the concert series. We will be about at $1 million in just a few years. By in about 5 years we'll be there. So we are a mid-sized orchestra. That's what they call us, because the top orchestras are somewhat top-heavy. They're doing very great work in their cities, but we are doing an amazing thing. It's a small budget orchestra, and we're able to accomplish a lot by producing about 10 programs a year for our community, so it's a good thing.
That is. We're very proud to have a symphony that's celebrating the 30th anniversary in Paducah, and the folks that sat back 30 years ago and said, we need to do this. It's amazing. Who would be that core group?
Oh boy, some of them are still around, and some of them I have not ever met. But there are three that I can think of that still are around on the board. We've got Richard Roof, who is our director of the Barkley Regional Airport, and we've got Richard Roberts, a prominent lawyer in town, who gave our opening address at our 30th anniversary concert and gave a history of the symphony that's really kind of fun. And then we've got Michael Resnick. He and his wife are advocates, Rotarians, good community people. I'm sure there's a list of people I'm missing. And
the president now?
The president now is Juliet Grumley. Yes. She's been a wonderful force in philanthropy in our community. Also helps the Carson Center on their board, and we are two separate organizations, and that's a unique dichotomy that we deal with in addressing the public. We often get their phone calls, but we're separate organizations. They are a presenting agency and have that beautiful space that we call our home, and the symphony is the body that produces the performances. So we have the orchestra and the chorus, and we are the performing body, if you will, the artist. So
thank you for what you bring to our community. Thank you to our artistic director, the director. Yep. Not many of us knew that they were called artistic directors.
Sure.
And to the many volunteers that make up the children's chorus and the symphony chorus. The musicians that do come from all over to spend a weekend here to put on a good performance for us. How spoiled we are, how much we take for granted that a community the size of Paducah, McCracken County, to have their own symphony. So many big communities don't have them anymore, and I'm sure you hear that when you go to your conferences.
Yep.
I certainly hear it in tourism about communities that cannot keep an orchestra.
Yeah,
So.
we're very lucky that the community is dedicated to having the arts here, and that we are able to continue to produce for our community because of the volunteers, the people involved, all the musicians. We're very blessed.
We are. And the arts in the schools, of course, we can continue to promote arts in the school. We really would like to see people continue to learn about music in school. If you're somebody who took music in school and have not been very active, this is a perfect place for you to bring music back into your life. Let it affect your children the same way the effect that it had on you growing up. This is the place to do it.
Yeah, it's very exciting that you mentioned that. We have a free student ticket program for families, and a wonderful part of our education outreach. We have ensembles that are going out into the schools to play for the students in the springtime. We do that every spring, and every classical program has about 400 tickets available for students and their families, so that they don't have to come alone. They can experience that together, and they request them through their music teacher, who requests them to the symphony.
I can guarantee you, if you're watching this, no matter at what time it is, there is a concert coming up. So get with your music teacher and get those tickets. And I hope that I'll see you at the concert, at the next symphony concert, either at the Carson Center, on the riverfront. Let's see, where else would they be? But I hope that we'll be there, able to share and learn, and music, just be a part of it, be a part of this, be a part of the arts in Paducah. Thank you, Darlene. And I hope that we'll do this again next year when you've got your new program and you can give us more details. And all 5 candidates. That'll be great. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mary.
See you soon.